This meeting is being recorded, as you can hear, which means that hopefully you all agree. And if you do not agree, just get out of here so you are safe. We plan to publish the recording later on YouTube, so you can catch on with what's going on and check everything. Let's see whether this progress automatically after every second has planned. Cool. If you can have your camera on, that would be pretty awesome because we can see each other. We can get the sense of people. Also, if you are new to Zoom, there is the video setting and you can set up to 49 attendees to see. So you will have more people to see. It's also possible somehow to split it into this other screen. So you have one screen for the presentation and one for the attendees. It would be cool if you can share whatever you find interesting today. We do have the hashtag CD21. You can mention CzechDreamin either on LinkedIn or on Twitter. We're not really active on other social media, but these two should be enough for the moment. There are some team behind this event, so let me thank you to Christina, Peter, and Lukáš who put all the things together. Also, if Christina or Peter or Lukáš will get in touch with you, that's valid, and they might have some questions to you, so don't be afraid to answer them. This whole thing started in 2019 when we did the first in-person event. It was pretty success. We had 200+ attendees from all over the world, and we like it. And we wanted to repeat it in 2020, but sadly the COVID hit, and we postponed to 2021. And at the beginning of 2021, we postponed to 2022 because the COVID was still here. But then we somehow thought that we are missing you. We are missing you all. So we put together this short version of CzechDreamin where speakers have just 6 minutes, 40 seconds to present, and we'll see how it will go. But we still hope that 2022 will be better, that we will be able to meet in person. So we do have the date. It will be paid event again. The tickets are available for sales, and we are crossing our fingers to make it. And that's probably the good place to thanks to our sponsors, because these sponsors paid for our 2020 event, but then we just throwing their money all the way to 2022. So they trust us that we will stay. And that's pretty awesome. Thank you, guys. And that's probably the second thing, how to use Zoom. On the bottom, you do have the reaction button, so you can click it. We can use it through the presentation so speakers have some feeling how it goes. So if you can give the clapping to the sponsors, that would be pretty awesome. We won't be able to do this without speakers. I wrote all of them 2 months ago whether they want to be part of this event. Then they all agreed. They all did their presentation into this special format of 20 slides, 20 seconds each. And I'm eternally grateful. And this is another slide you will see through the day. And at that moment, you will get the message unmute. And it's a perfect opportunity for some applause for the speakers. Thank you guys for everything. Feel free to use the chat in Zoom. You probably know it. You are allowed to use the direct messages. Again, pay attention, don't exploit it. We don't really want to kick out anyone, but it might happen. Use the question before your question so we can follow up easily, because we plan to ask the short question to speakers right after the session. We plan to have the panel discussion at the end of the whole event, but some speakers are not able to make it, especially Cyril and Trisha. maybe they will answer into the chat, and we will definitely try to get the answers and maybe follow up with an email. The good news about this virtual experience is that you can have any link you want. You just need to fix it yourself. You can have break at any time you want, but we will not stop. And you can also have a cigar if you want to, because nobody will complain. So that's pretty cool, right? There might be some swags. No promise given. But we do have some certifications vouchers, which we will distribute during the event. So the longer you stay with us, the higher your chances. And there might be some physical swags after the event as well. So stay tuned for future communication, answer questionnaire, and you might want something. There are some other events after us. There is the Trailhead DX in 2 weeks' time. At the end of the June, there is the EMEA and PSP Sprint. So if you want to help with the nonprofit success pack, they are looking for admin and consultants. And in September, there is the Pakistan DreamIn, first event in Pakistan. The agenda is pretty busy. We do have 12 speakers. And at the beginning, we basically will find out everything about the marketing cloud. Then we have something for the admins about data quality and adoption things and how to build your application faster. That's a pretty new feature. Then in the second half, we do have something maybe more for developers about Salesforce DX, how to become a developer. Also something for project manager or anyone who wants to find more about certifications. So the agenda is pretty colorful, let's put it this way, and I hope that everyone will find something. And this is the time for the final applause, but we do have one surprise for each speaker, and we didn't tell them before. The speakers will have one extra task to do after their presentation. They need to say a number. Number is actually something between 1 and 150, and I'm saying the number 10. And that's it. We'll see what does it mean. And we do have the first real speaker. Let me welcome Cyril on the stage. Cyril, yep. Are you ready to rock and roll?
Yep, I am.
So let me click it and stage is yours.
Okay. So hi everyone, welcome to CzechDreamin 2021 rapid style. So as Martin said, 20 slides, 20 seconds each. I'm Cyril Louis, so from Switzerland, Salesforce MVP, platform champion, user group leader, Skiforce organizer, and Maverick CEO. And so let's kick this session to share tips and tricks around Marketing Cloud limitations. So first of all, I would like to share with you this forward-looking statement. You may have seen this slide before. Because Salesforce is a publicly traded company, I would like to make sure that you will base your buying decision only on what is currently available on the platform. And I'm sure it's clear. But since I will also talk about roadmap and maybe also different ways to have an impact on the roadmap. So it is the idea exchange. So you will be able to upvote for new features. So I will share links and QR codes for you to upvote. So again, just make it your decision on what is available. So in this session, I will share a few limitations that I have faced before in my own experience during my Marketing Cloud implementation. And sometimes I have found some workarounds. So I will be more than happy to share with you. And when we don't have some workarounds, it's still the options to upvote for the idea. The first question is sandbox. So can I have access to a Marketing Cloud trial, or can I test Marketing Cloud before? Where is my sandbox as soon as I have access to a Marketing Cloud instance? Quite often a question that you can see. And in that case, I would say that unfortunately, there is no sandbox. So there is no, unless you will vote for this ID, one workaround will be to identify the data that you will use for your test with a custom checkbox. Or you can also use business units. So it's a feature to segregate your data. So use the business units for your testing, or just flag it, or vote for the ID on the ID exchange. Next topic is about data synchronization. So for sure, you may be aware that we have a standard connector named Marketing Cloud Connect to synchronize Sales and Service Cloud with Marketing Cloud. But how does it work? Can we also send information both ways? It is something that I have faced during my different implementations. And what is available out of the box with Marketing Cloud Connect is sending information from sales service to marketing, but both ways, it's only information on email. If you would like to update data, you will have to use customer journeys or mScript, which is the custom dev, the way to develop on Marketing Cloud. Or you can also vote for this idea. Then if you build some customer journeys, maybe you would like to test it before to make it available on your production. Maybe you have developed a cool customer journey on one specific business unit and you would like to share it with different business units. So how do you deal with that? So good news. So it was not available before. So at that time you have to rebuild everything. But because a lot of people in the community vote for the idea, it is now available. So you can deploy customer journey from one business unit to another. So it makes sense. You can have an impact on the Salesforce roadmap. So just remind that you can vote. I just talked about customer journeys and how to send and to share. It's all can be also the case with landing pages. So how to build landing pages in Marketing Cloud. How can I duplicate and reuse, make it as a template? And I found a workaround because it was not available at that time. So I used to implement form assembly because it's super easy to integrate with Marketing Cloud. But again, since the last release of Marketing Cloud in June 2020, this feature has been delivered. So now you can duplicate an existing landing page that we have built on Cloud Pages. So again, you can have an impact on the Salesforce roadmap. A lot of people are now opening their email on the mobile device. So with Marketing Cloud, you have this kind of preview. So sometimes it looks good on a preview, but when you receive it, it's super crazy. So you will have a question how to make sure that my mobile device, my mobile template is okay. I mean, for real. So the workaround that I found is to use Litmus. So Litmus will give you tons of previews, a lot of different devices and a lot of different email clients, and super easy to integrate with Marketing Cloud. Maybe also Salesforce will improve Email Studio since the latest acquisition, or you can also vote for the idea. You are a customer of Marketing Cloud, so you will buy what they call super messages. Super messages is the volume of interaction you can have, but how to deal with this volume? How many messages you can send to your subscriber? How to make sure that you will not over solicitate your subscriber? So it is not a standard feature. So you can have different options. Maybe use what we call a Marketing Cloud measure. You will increase this counter and use it as a filter, or you can use data extensions to automatically update an exclusion list, not to over solicitate your subscriber base. And talking about every solicitation you will send to your customer, so you will consume your super messages. But how do you know where you are based on what you've bought in terms of email or SMS or push notification, or also cloud page impressions? Actually, if you're just using email as a channel, you can just run a report to know where you are, and you can compare with what you bought, but there is no direct comparison. And if you are using different channels, there is no way to know where you are. So the only way will be to ask your account executive, or you can vote for the IDs again. And the last topic that I have faced also is when you're talking about marketing suites in Salesforce, you have Marketing Cloud, we have Pardot, and sometimes people ask, how to have this kind of scoring in Marketing Cloud? Because we do have in Pardot. So is not out of the box, first information. So if you want to have a basic custom scoring, you can just synchronize with Marketing Cloud Connect, and maybe with a process builder, increase a counter with the open, email click, or you can also use customer journey to take all the interactions into account, or you can just implement SalesWings, which is the partner that will do lead scoring and website tracking. Whew, it was quite fast.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wonder whether we have any good question to ask right away. But the first question I do have, Cyril, is what's the number?
Oh, yes. I would say 21, like CD 21, and like my birthday 21.
Oh, thank you for that. And with that, we are ready for next presentation. Kerry, what do you think? Are you ready to go?
I am, yeah, I think I am. It's going to be rapid. Let's see how we get on.
Cool. 3, ready, steady, go.
Okay, welcome everybody. I'm going to be talking about Marketing Cloud resources. This is going to be quite rapid. I've really tried to pack in as much as I can. There will be a way to get the links at the end, so I don't want you to worry about that, but we'll go through as much content as we can to give you as much insight as possible about what you can now do with Marketing Cloud. So a bit about me. I've been working with Marketing Cloud for over 5 years, mainly in an enterprise setting. I'm now freelancing. You can connect to me on these channels. You can see I've got some certifications, and there are some numbers, some pictures on here which show you some of the ways that I get involved with the community, either through organizing or speaking, or many different ways. So the key takeaways here are that there are a lot of resources now, and it's continuously changing and improving. Actually, the community generate a lot of this content. So it's a great time to get involved with Marketing Cloud. And I encourage you yourself to actually create content and share and generate wherever you can, because it really helps the people that are actually following you. So in here, we're going to talk about some Salesforce resources, then the community-based resources and how you can interact with those. We'll touch on Salesforce product marketing and the Marketing Cloud Champion program. And then I'll also highlight a whole number of links about resources, which you can then go and click on and explore in your own time. So let's start with the Salesforce help. Hopefully you know where the help is that talks about the product capability and also where to access support. I did want to highlight these implementation guides because there's more of these than I actually remember, including around security and Einstein. So these are a really great and valuable resource to be up to date with that gives steps forward. If you're a developer, then there's actually a dedicated place on developer.salesforce.com now, which is really great. So that talks about the APIs, the programmatic languages, which are AmpScript and SSJS, and then also the SDKs. So this has all now been wrapped together and it is in a much more digestible format than it has been in previous years. I hope everyone on here has heard of Trailhead. Because, you know, everybody's on Trailhead now. This has learning modules and they're growing with Marketing Cloud all the time with every release. But this is also where you find out about certifications and certification boot camps. So if you're on that journey, there might be a boot camp coming up about email specialist. Trailhead is also extended now to live sessions, which is really awesome. So there's a program of sessions that run pretty much every day. You can watch those live, or you can go back and watch the recordings. And there's a nice filter now, which allows you to pick out the particular product. And there are sessions on new releases, the Architect Academy. Now, Cyril touched on this, but this is the question I always get asked. Can I get a dev org? And unfortunately, the answer to that is no. Only customers and partners have production level orgs of Marketing Cloud. There are a couple of exceptions, but there's no way that you can get an org in the same way that you can get a dev org with the core platform. So if you want to connect to the community with people, you can go to trailblazer.salesforce.com and join some of the collaboration groups specifically around Marketing Cloud. One that you might not be as familiar with is the Stack Exchange. This is where a lot of the exact target community lived before it was part of Salesforce. There's a huge amount of content on here. Other groups include the Salesforce Trailblazer community groups. So you can go on that website and search for a group near you. I'm the co-lead for the London Marketing Cloud group. You'll also find that there's a group called How to SFMC, and there's a Slack channel that you can join and interact with people, get your questions asked, get access to resources and network with those people. You'll also find, like this one, there's community conferences. Some now have a marketing specific track, and some of the conferences like CzechDreamin are specifically marketing focused, although that is particularly Pardot focused. You can go and find the list of all those community conferences coming up actually on the Trailhead website. So there's a link there where you can see everything that's coming up. The community is very generous, and in this setting, if you're particularly on the development side, you'll find that there's a book called The AMP Script Guide, which was created by Elliot Harper and Adam Spriggs, where it's a comprehensive guide around AMP Script. There's also GitHub repositories where you can pick up and reuse code. So if you're in the development side, you really want to get involved in that. If you follow one person, then I would suggest you follow Gilda Hilaire, who's in Salesforce Product Marketing. She was responsible for the webinar series like Lookup Answers and Technical Marketing Monthly, which were really great. You can find the recordings for those on JB's blog. There's also other events. There's a podcast. There are campaigns running. You might have heard about the Marketing Champions program. This recognizes master marketers who are both industry and product specialists who want to share their knowledge. You can find some lists of these people. Definitely follow them and look out for the content that they put out, because they're there and they want to help go through all of that information. And then there is a whole load of blogs. So this has really exploded. This is just a small handful that I've got here. Includes one from Salesforce Ben, which actually links to a selection of other blogs. I mentioned JB's blog, which has the recordings from the Lookup Answers session, plus there are a whole load of others, and they range from admin to technical. Again, we've got a lot of YouTube content now, if that's the way you prefer to consume content. So there's Salesforce, but equally there are Trailblazer community groups that are now recording their sessions and putting them live. Plus, Elliot Harper does a great how-to session on various things. So depending on how you want to consume, get involved with that. This is some content that I've created. So I created a guide around passing the admin exam, plus another couple of sessions that I've done at other places. So those are also there to check out if you are hungry for Marketing Cloud content, which I hope you are after this particular session. So my intention is to create a blog post with all of these links in. You can find me on Medium, you can find me on these channels, but as I said, there is a lot of content out there. There's a lot of people that want to help and support now. It's a great time to get into Marketing Cloud, and you too, one day, if you're not already, could be creating content for the community that really helps and supports people follow on.
Six minutes and you saved me an hours of searching on the Google. That's pretty cool. The last question, Kerry, what's the number?
Ooh, I'm going to say the number is 25.
Cool. We all keep low. Hopefully someone should hire. Cool. That was pretty cool. And the next speaker is Ivanna. Ivanna, are you ready?
Hi guys, yeah, sure. Let's go.
Oh, ready, steady, go.
Hello everyone, my name is Ivanna Gladysh and today we'll talk about EDA and Pardot for higher education. And the case study will be based on Anglo-American University in Prague. Anglo-American University was established in 1990s, and it was the first privately held university in Czech Republic. And in October, before the COVID hit it in 2019, I got reached out from them to help them to implement a new instance and improve their marketing automation. So the decision went to purchase the EDA, Educational Cloud, and to purchase the Pardot. A little bit about myself. So I'm a Salesforce Marketing Champion. I was Salesforce for more than 6 years. And currently I'm creating a new project in Czech Republic. And so stay tuned. You can see my social accounts. Feel free to follow and for my updates and the news. Okay, so what actually EDA is? It's a Salesforce Org Education Cloud for higher education. It's a CRM-based set of solutions that enable institutions to drive students' success across the life cycle from prospect to alum. Its architecture is very different from the original Salesforce. It has its own custom objects. And as you see here is the entity relation diagram. And you can see how it's connected with the standard Salesforce objects and the objects inside the EDA. It's important to know that in EDA, there are no personal accounts by default. So in case you want one, you need to request it additionally. As well, the opportunities itself is not present there. You need to understand EDA before you actually want to purchase it. And first, it's your design decision. So basically what you plan on each of the stage of implementation, what kind of data model you want to use and how it's actually matched with the object inside EDA. You also need to think about the custom objects that you want to use, and there is reasons when not to use it. First is the process-driven scenario. So if you know that in your processes there is a lot of custom objects and EDA doesn't match, then you should skip it. In terms of data-driven scenario, if you go through data model and you see that you simply cannot use it, it's better to go for a standard Salesforce org. In terms of the common implementation scenario, there are 4, and the one that Anglo-American University had was existing org without EDA. They just had a simple Salesforce org. So the main focus was to go through the data model and data objects that they had and to match them to EDA. In any case, your main exercise will be to go through your architecture and match it with EDA. In terms of the marketing automation, and you know we have 2 solutions, Marketing Cloud and Pardot. My suggestion will be to go with the Pardot because it's integrated in Salesforce Lightning. It's very easy to pick up for your team, and you can do everything. You can drive all the admissions and all the processes there directly. And if you will purchase the advanced package of Pardot, you will get a B2B marketing analytics, which is embedded there. And it's super cool if you want to see the segmentation and how your audience is behaving and have a very precise overview on your students and potential prospects there. Of course, if you are NGO, you will have an access to Power of Us Hub. It's a specific platform for everyone who is in non-profit sector. So once you get the access to the org, I will suggest you to register there. There are plenty of resources. And in education, I suggest you to register for Educational Summit that will happen June 16. Here you can see the link, and thank you. Yoo-hoo!
That was quick, but cool to see all those edge cases because you don't see EDA too often in real life, I would say. There are just, well, maybe not a few, but it's not as widely spread as the Sales Cloud or Service Cloud. Pretty cool. Ivana, what's the number?
17.
17.
Yeah.
Cool. Larvo the start. That looks like Andre. What do you think, Andre? Ready to go?
Definitely ready.
Cool. So, how do you pronounce it? Af?
Yep. Usually you just shout it.
Go for it.
All right, thank you. So I'm Andre. I'm a consultant at an SI partner and involved in quite a few implementation projects of Salesforce. And this is a story about data quality and your information strategy, which often is not even a topic at a lot of projects. And I'll be showing you a framework that can help you avoid something like this. Like say your data looks like this. You can't find anything, you don't really have an overview, you can't even share it properly. So it's a topic, no one really wants to deal with it, it's boring, but hey, data is the most important thing in your Salesforce instance. So say you are the data steward, let's see on the left, I'll explain a bit what the data steward is and does. Then I'll go into the why, why is data quality important and your information strategy, and on the right hand side is the actual framework or part of it that will help you in your journey towards good data quality. A data steward has a control tower view or bird's eye view of the entire org, and data steward liaises with all the different departments and on every layer in an organization. And has 4 responsibilities: identify a focus area, and then of course also evaluate the data needs and execute some plan, but that's for later. So you've identified the gaps that are needed for the company's KPIs and metrics. So as a data steward, you prioritize and say, okay, this is what we're going to work on, and technically you're fixing stuff. You're fixing all the gaps. You enhance or create dashboards and reports. You have a look at critical business processes. Of course, they go first. And for each of the processes, you understand the data needs. Then some questions you should be asking yourself: do I need a backup strategy? How is poor data quality impacting our business? Or how do I consolidate data from multiple sources? Stuff here, other platforms and software you're integrating with. Of course, why does this this all matter? You're pretty much piecing together all the little bits and pieces, creating order in the chaos, and you provide your company grip on the processes. And what those processes might look like is a bit like this. On the left-hand side, you see 3 silos, and all the data is siloed. No one can really do, have like an enterprise overview, which you have on the right-hand side. And you do that using master data management principles. Now you see here, MDM, master data management, and data quality are only 2 parts of quite a few building blocks of an information strategy. I could do like a 2-day course on each block, but let's not do that today. So what you start with is, or one of the things to start with, is to see what actually impacts your data. It could be all these processes that change your original data, data ingestion processes, so what comes in, or data decay. Haven't we probably have data that hasn't been updated or touched in a long time. So what you do here, you start on the top, you profile and analyze and then group your data in good and bad. And then from the bad section, you have a look, can we standardize anything? Are there common denominators? And you move to the good group. And you just keep going through that circle. So there's of course also standardizing and normalizing. Think of your company names or your customers' company names, data fields, address fields. You can all standardize that. After that, of course, you start creating structure. For instance, yes. So you do the actual cleaning, structuring, deduplicating. So this is about the decide who should win the battle of the duplicates. So again, you identify, build in some survivorship rules, like which one's going to win, and then you actually merge them. Keep in mind the related records when you merge. So here you see the framework again. So you start with profiling, then you cleanse, you standardize a bit more, you match it, and then don't forget monitoring. It's not a one-off thing. You keep doing this until it's clean, and then you start focusing on other stuff. Some of the things you can start doing tomorrow is build a dashboard and some alerts. That's how you identify issues, mitigate some risks, and for instance, use some quality data scoring on your account. How many fields are filled? Probably if most of it's empty, gets a low score. There are also some tools that can help you on the App Exchange. For instance, you have tools that are specific for master data management. There's some for data quality or duplicate management. Those three categories you can actually look up on the App Exchange. Then, of course, you also have the community where there's Trailhead. There's a lot of resources there. User groups, community resources with some manuals or the other stuff that's been mentioned for the community. Go there, and eventually you'll probably get better user adoption, happy people, happy customers. And don't forget, your Salesforce org is useless if you can't do anything with the data you put in there. And that was it. Thank you.
Sorry for the interruption, but you made it great with that.
Great job.
Yeah. The number. Andre, what's your number?
You're mute.
Cool. Thank you, Andre. 149. I have not muted him. He did it himself. So I'm muting everyone. And we do have a next speaker. Let me find him and ask him to unmute. Johann, are you ready?
Yes, let me check the camera. I can't see myself. Is the camera okay? Yes, here we go.
Camera is okay. Achtung, fertig, los.
Thanks. Today I want to answer the live old question. What the fuck are our users doing? Does any of you know how often a certain button is clicked? Does any of you know how often a certain page is used? Does any of you have any knowledge which is normal in the website world since like 15 years? I have Google Analytics on my website. I know everything about my users on my website. But before we go into details, I'm Johann. I'm a Salesforce admin from Berlin. I run a small App Exchange company, which is called Admin's Helper. I produce small but powerful App Exchange. And hit me up on LinkedIn and Twitter. The code for everything I talk about will be shared via GitHub for people who want to know on LinkedIn and Twitter. Event monitoring, yes. First of all, this is us. This was my team I was working for, AudiBene, 5 people, thousands and thousands of tickets. We did everything our users for. This is not Sandbox. This is not our admin view. This is the actual user view. 3 rows of buttons, 4 rows of related lists. We did everything our users wanted. This was horrible from usability. Every button worked, but we had no way of actually knowing what has worked. And we asked our users, and our users told us, I use this all the time. This is very important to me. Just yesterday, I needed that. And we had no way to clarify, to validate, to this unvalidated. What would be normal on every website to actually know what the users are doing? We have no way of doing that in Salesforce. Or does any of you know? Does event monitoring show me which button is clicked? No. We got it to work. 3 months later, we had 2 buttons left. 2. Out of all of these rows. And how did we do it? We stopped listening to people. We got hard facts. We stopped emotions. We tracked every single button. How often is this button actually used? And yes, the button send flower bouquet. This is my example I love here. It actually sends flower bouquets is useful in theory, but only a used feature is a good feature. And only a clean org is a good org. It doesn't matter what is the intention behind the feature. It doesn't matter how good the feature could be in theory. If nobody clicks the button has no value. And by nobody, I mean below 30% of your user base on a regular basis. I don't say a button. So we learn from Andre what to track. Fields, records created. Great. If an object is not used, we don't create any records anymore. Delete the object from your system. Simple enough. But how often is a button clicked? How often is a certain page clicked, viewed? How often is a certain tab in Lightning, especially with Lightning with the new complex layouts, actually viewed? How often is a flow started and finished? We have no idea of knowing. And that's because Salesforce does give us no feature adoption tracking out of the box. But if you use the code I provide you on GitHub, a few lines of code, and a few custom objects, you can track everything in your org super really fast. And I think I would say each of your projects for everything should have that. How does it actually work? I go from the left. We have something which triggers the adoption tracking. So you have to add it to a flow, process builder, Lightning component. It doesn't automatically add itself to everything. You have to do it yourself. And then you or Visual Force page, Apex, I think we have a small helper method, which is called feature adoption tracking or something. Adoption counter class, you give it two parameters. What is the feature and what is the action the user did? Then the class itself does all the magic. It's not that much magic. It's a couple of lines of code. And then what it does, it starts to create records, one record per feature, per action per user per day, because I didn't need it more granularly. I needed to know Johann used that feature on Sunday 5 times. That's it. And with that, going forward, every single feature you can do tracking. The tracking part is the easy part. This is technically super simple. Now the hard part comes, the business. You have to start to talk to your business users and you have to tell them the hard truth, your managers, your team leads. Your feature you just be built for you is useless. And one of them is, we all know it, the tab on the lead page. Show the news recently about this company. Who of you has seen this? The CEO features, I like to call them. Sound great on paper. We have to track how often is this lead detail page actually used. And in order to do that, we use feature adoption tracking. We have a small Lightning component. It's actually Aura. You just drag and drop it onto the page on wherever you want to have it. It's super lightweight. It does a super simple call to the server. User will not see any difference in performance. You define the feature, the action, you're done. You can do that with any page, with any tab, wherever you want. No excuse not to do it. Trish, thanks for laughing. I mean that. Same as for database level actions. Hey, as a manager, I want to know who changes the opportunity owner for closed opportunities in order to stop cheating. There was this rumor in our company that people cheat. Good news is actually it wasn't true. So even for rumors, it's important to check. What we did is, again, I'm such a fan of invocable methods. We have a small invocable method. You add it to either process builder, which we don't do anymore. Discard the screenshots here. I'm sorry, they are old. Of course, to a flow, and we say every time an opportunity with a closed owner is changed in a closed opportunity, we pass it to parameters, and the feature adoption tracking does the same. Put a stop to all the guesswork. How often does this happen? Oh, it happens all the time. Stop that now. Start getting hard data. And the last one is about Lightning components. I mean, I do app exchange packages and I do the same. I do beta testing with unmanaged packages. No worries, my packages are not tracked, but the unmanaged one, I want to know how often the Aura button send email is actually clicked. And again, this is a true story. We had a button which 1,000 of our users claimed to click all the time, which sent an email to the users. So what you do is you just add one line of code. This is for all the developers here in the group. You pass it 2 attributes. Again, the same feature and action, and that's it. No more excuse not to track your Lightning components. If you don't want to take my code, which I completely would understand, it's super easy to build yourself. Every developer can do this in a day. You have to use the data. So before go live, this is the hard part. Go to your team lead, to your manager, to your product owner, and ask, how often do you think will this button be clicked? Does any of you do this ever? Nope. We have no idea. We build something and say it will make us 50,000 euro. How exactly, we don't know. Track adoption regularly. Track after 1 week, after 1 month, after 6 months, after 12 months. I just create calendar reminders. And then inform the users. Also inform your product owners if it actually is used. I made the mistake of just informing them about the bad news. I learned my lesson. Also, the good news are important. Just make it a habit. Adoption tracking is a part of the feature lifecycle. We are not done when a feature is live. And with that, I want to thank you very much. Looking forward to get your feedback on Twitter and LinkedIn. And thanks a lot, Martin, for putting that together. Thanks a lot. Super question about the big volume. Nope, the data is not that much because it's just 1 record per user per day, which actually doesn't make a lot of data. You have a couple of thousand records after a couple of weeks. You just delete it. You stop tracking at some point. You don't track everything all the time. Okay.
Cool. And nice. I do have a question. What's the number?
1.
1.
Yeah,
okay.
And if somebody has to start.
Absolutely respect it. So the next speaker we do have is Fabien. Fabien,
it's me.
Are you ready?
I think I am. Let me make my camera working and unmute myself. I'm okay. I'm okay to go.
Yeah, we can see you. So partes.
Okay, so I'm about to talk about how we can build up faster with dynamic interaction, which is a new feature from Salesforce coming. And I think it's a great feature, so I really wanted to present it to all of you guys. So, well, let's start. So, a quick slide to show who I am. So, I'm a Salesforce MVP. My name is Fabien Taillon. First, I'm a Salesforce MVP. I'm CTO at Texay, which is a French consulting company. I'm also leading the Paris developer group. I'm part of French CzechDreamin team. Yeah, thanks, Vincent. And this is my Twitter handle, Fabien Taillon. So you can follow me on Twitter and ask any questions there if you have any. So let's see, what are dynamic interactions? So there have been a couple of blog posts about Salesforce, but it's always easier to understand when you see it. So it's an easy way to bind components together in a builder. It's really easy to update for developers to update the current components. And today it's in pilot, but we are in the pilot, so hopefully I have some screenshots for you. So how does it work today? Let's explain first the problem it's trying to solve. So we are using a custom application just to show you. So it's just a list of records on the left. And when you click on one of the records, it will update on the right second component with the data related to the clicked contact on the left. So what do you have? It's a custom component, of course. So let's see what do we have in App Builder. So in App Builder, if I have to create this kind of components for, let's say, my customer, my app builders, I will create only one component. And it's not really great because, well, if an admin wants to use either one or the other component, he can't. And if I want to add an interaction with another component, it's not possible to. Well, I'm a developer, and when I look at my code, actually, it should be very easy to split the component into 2 small components because this is my code. You see, there is 2 lines, 1 line per component. So there is no reason for me as a developer not to expose the individual component instead of the big one in a builder. But well, what if we try to do it today? Today it won't really work, and let's see why. So you can see on the bottom left. Instead of having my big component, I will create 2 splits and expose in a builder my 2 small components, which are account detail and account list. And I am able actually to drag and drop them in a builder. And well, but then what's the issue? The issue is that then when I click on the list, nothing is happening. So you can see this nice animation. You can click on any record, any contact you want. Nothing will ever change on the second component on the right because, well, I just drag and drop individual components and that's it. When I was using my big components, what was done? It was my code of the parent component that would unlink this kind of stuff. So it's actually very, very easy. It's when you look at the code of the my big component, there are only 2 lines. And these 2 lines, what are they doing? they are taking the events and all the attributes from the second component and linking them together. So that's good because you had 20 seconds to stay on this animation. So it's good that I was late on the previous one. So let's see what dynamic interaction can help us with, and how they can replace the 2 lines of code we have seen. So what do we have if you want to replace these 2 simple lines of code with point and clicks? So, well, on the first section is the target component, so the component on the right. So as you can see, there is a regular attribute on the right that you already know. And on the source component on the left, you see there is a new tab, which is Events tab. And this is something new that is thanks to dynamic interaction. So what should we do when you click on Events tab? Well, you just have to set up what kind of component you want to target. So we will select the account detail, and we will select the record ID and API name with the events coming from the component from the left. So it's not hard-coded anymore. It's now coming from the event. So first you see the target component attribute. When you click on the component, you can hard-code them. That's not what we want. Thanks to dynamic interaction, we won't hard-code them. We'll fill them with the event values coming from the component from the left, so the list. And this is doing in point and click exactly the same thing as the 2 lines of code we are seeing. And the cool thing with this is that we can not only, well, replace these 2 lines of code, but as an administrator, I can also drag and drop a second component if I want, like a location component, and add another dynamic interaction. So I will have 2. And when I click on the contact, I will be able to not only display the information, but also display a map with the information. And yeah, with point and click, actually, you can do everything that was done with code before. But now you can do very easily with just point and click. So no code needed anymore. And yeah, I think we can just look at this nice animation for 20 seconds, because I think it's really great to be able to do that with point and click and not with code. So let's have a quick look on what can be, what needs to be done to update our components as a developer. So, well, you can see the first component was the big one. It's easy to split it. I will just expose the two components individually. And the code that we've seen that is handling the interaction between the 2 components is not needed anymore, because this will be handled with dynamic interaction. And the only thing we need to do, well, in the source component, so the list, when I click on one of the contacts, on the left, you can see the code. There is already an event that is fired, but before it was catched by the code. Now it's with dynamic interaction. The only thing we need to do is on the right to add in the property of the component an event to say, okay, we are firing an event now, and this is what will be displayed in App Builder. So as a summary, it's a great new feature for App Builder because it's very easy to set up. You can expose more granular components for app builders. And as you can see, for existing components, it's very, very easy to update them so that your components are available for app builders. And there are a few links to Salesforce blog posts here that were published recently. So you can see a few of these print screens too and read more about it. And I think that's almost it. I think that was fast. It was really fast.
That was really cool. Looking forward when this feature will be generally
I think
available.
It's a great feature. So I guess you want my number, right?
I want your number.
Yeah, I think I would say 42, right? Quite a geeky number.
Nice. Okay, thank you. And the next one we do have is Evgenii. I ask you to unmute. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, hello from Munich. I'm Evgenii Pavlov and CEO of Flare. I manage package on Salesforce. And today I will show you how we work with Qt.io tool. So it's all about Salesforce DX. And Salesforce Developer Experience, or simply DX, is a modern approach to develop and deploy And when they introduced Salesforce.dx, they basically did a small revolution on the way we do things with Salesforce. First of all, it's source-driven development. Then it's scratch orgs where you can have one feature, one org, one branch. And it's super amazing for developers. The traditional way of development includes org-based deployment with Chansense and Sandbox. Salesforce.dx offers an alternative in organizing metadata. And it's not just managed package, but new unlocked packages. Your source truth is your source control repository. So, and these unlocked packages are especially suited for internal usage. You can use unlocked packages to organize your existing metadata, package an app, extend an app from AppExchange, or package new metadata. There is even now org-dependent unlock packages. Much easier to organize metadata in existing organizations. And what is also really cool about packaging itself, it's you can depend on another package, or even inside one package, you have different folders for organizing dependent metadata. For example, you can create some basic utils which you can use in every package. But where do you hold this configuration? As you can see, these package directories. Every package is a Salesforce project and a local directory structure with your metadata. It contains configs for how to create scratch orgs and the config for the project itself, where you can define dependencies, for example. So you can use CLI to create Salesforce package for you. Then you can start using scratch org for developing. And you can see that you need to know command line, Git, config files, and so on. So it's pretty straightforward for developers, but we wanted to go further and create a web interface for Salesforce projects, scratch org, pooling, pushing, and packaging. And it's Hute.io. And today I will show you how we use Hute for organizing metadata and extending our packaging for clients. Now you see how we create a new project. We only need to connect DevHub and your version control of choice, not only GitHub, but also GitLab, Bitbucket, Azure. And then everything is set up. We are good to go. And we're starting using scratch orgs. And right from Hute, you can start a new scratch org. And anyone from your team can log in to the scratch org and help you with the review, for example. And here I want to customize e-bike example and add some fields and Russian translations. So if you're curious how you configure scratch org setup, we use a file Hute YAML where you can define what you would like to do after scratch org is created. So for example, you can assign some permission sets or load some paste data. So you also can configure your pull scripts. And after you're done with changes, you don't need to run any command line. So basically, you can click a button, pull changes, and then you will be automatically synchronized and get your changes to Git and even create a pull request. And then you can collaborate with your team to review and check this pull request, for example, on GitHub. And because it's a source-driven way of development, so your source of truth in your Git, and every new feature is a new scratch org, a new Git branch, and one pull request. So you can exchange comments, so you can do many changes and add to this branch. And then when everything is done, you can just merge it. In Hute, we also support we can automate some routine operation, for example, fetch translations or import seed data. Anything you can run locally, you can run in Hute, as we run everything in a Docker image. So Hute also supports some environment variables. So we can put branch name, or you can create any variables you would like. And this is example when you want to fetch translations. So I added some translations and then click button and it runs these commands. So and commit everything to the branch I was already working with. So you can see that here I added a new field and fetch translations. And now it's time to package everything what I did. So I create a new version. And for example, this is, I added this field and Russian translation, and then I want to package. When I create a new version, it's ready to be deployed to sandboxes for testing. We can connect as many organizations as we want for testing, and usually we do, so we develop a new feature in Scratchwork, then we merge, commit, and create a package, new version, install in sandbox, and test there. Then you can install the same sandbox and other, the same package in other sandboxes as well. And when everything is fine, and I hope everything is fine with my translations, you can promote this version and deploy to production. You see, no command line touching and everything in the cloud, so you can easily manage your version and collaborate with your team. So everything you see, so everyone can see what you're working on and what you are deploying. To improve efficiency, you can also use Scratchwork pooling, so no need to wait for a new Scratchwork being created. And then you can take Scratchwork from the pool and start developing with new exciting feature from like my Russian translations. And also you can use the same pool or create a new project to use in your CI. So we use Circle CI, for example, and we use this command line to take freshly created configured Scratchwork from the pool and push our code, check, run all tests, and be green. And this is a slide just to have 20 slides. But yes, as you can see, the more people can benefit from using the great feature from Salesforce, unlock packages. Not only developers should be happy, but admins too. Thank you. And my number 119.
119, cool. Looks like this is the future of Salesforce, that we don't need change sets anymore and will just depend on the repository with the latest status. Really looking forward how the regular admins will do it and how they will make it happen, because that's my biggest fear when I speak with them. It's so easy to update the things in production. It's not so easy when they need to work with the change sets. But yeah. So next one, we have Tomáš on the line. Are you ready, Tomáš?
I am, just needed to unmute myself, but hopefully you can hear me now.
We can hear you.
Perfect.
So ready, steady, teď.
Hello everyone, my name is Tomáš Hnízdil, and today I would like to tell you hopefully everything about Salesforce certifications. This presentation aims more on the new people in the community, but hopefully some more experienced trailblazers will also be able to find something useful here. At the very beginning, let me introduce myself in just 20 seconds. I work as a head of development at Blues.io. Altogether, I've been working with Salesforce for about 9 years now. I currently hold 13 Salesforce certifications, hoping to add some more in the near future. And you can find me at LinkedIn or the Trailblazer community. Let me start with the very fundamental question whether Salesforce certifications are worth it. The answer is not so surprising. Of course, they are. I try to summarize 3 major benefits which you may get by getting Salesforce certified. I'll try to cover each of them in the next 3 slides. As the first benefit, you obviously get the knowledge. Regardless of where you actually pass the certification exam, once you commit to learning for a certification, you can't get through the process without actually getting some useful knowledge, which you can then use for your future implementations to naturally make them better and better aligned with Salesforce standards. As the second benefit, obviously you promote yourself, you get a formal proof of your experience or expertise. You can find tons of such charts all over the internet saying that certified people get better careers, better positions, higher salaries. So that's pretty much the goal for, I would say, most of us, I guess. As the third benefit, your employer can actually benefit from your certifications as well. By getting certified, you can help your employer to get on in a higher program tier in a Salesforce certification partner program. Also, if you are about to switch a company, you are probably much more likely to be hired by a Salesforce partner company. Now let's take a look at what Salesforce currently offers. Salesforce offers 35 certifications up to 2 days ago in 5 roles. There are 5 roles which you don't need to commit to anyhow, but they help you understand better the path in the certification diagram, which is this one. This is probably the most important slide in my presentation, so I used a little hack to keep it a bit longer on the screen. This chart shows all the available certifications sorted by the roles. You can see the different colors. Also, they are naturally sorted by the complexity. So the easiest ones are on the top, and the most complex one, the certified the technical architect, is on the very bottom. It also shows all the prerequisites, and finally, it shows the expected or recommended amount of experience needed for each of the certification. So you can see that you can start probably somewhere around 6 months needed for the Salesforce administrator, up to the 8+ years recommended for the technical architect. I'll talk a bit more about the Salesforce technical architect certification. It is pretty much the holy grail of all Salesforce certifications. It is completely different than all the other exams because this does not consist of a simple exam like all the other certifications, but there is a presentation in front of the panel of CTI judges, a super complex one, which is defined by not more than 400 people having this certification all over the world. As you probably know, Salesforce keeps adding new certifications every day. They literally added a new one last night. You can see the latest certifications added in the last 6 months. And you can also see some interesting rumors, not confirmed yet by Salesforce, but rumors circulating in the community. If you are interested about them, definitely check that out. The link, it's very interesting. If you are not certified yet, you may ask how to get certified. Of course, you need to pass the certification exam at first. You can do that either on-site or online. For some certifications, you may need some additional criteria, such as getting a super badge on Trailhead. And don't forget that once you get certified, you need to pass the maintenance modules on Trailhead 3 times a year. On this slide, I wanted to mention that even though it sounds very tempting to get as many certifications as possible, your knowledge should actually help you to get the certification and not the vice versa. So keep that in mind and keep building actually the knowledge behind the certifications rather than getting the certifications themselves. Once you decide to learn for the exam, there are some interesting tips and tricks. Definitely get the official exam guide on Trailhead in order to find out what the exam is about and how are the rules. Also, I can totally recommend you to get familiar with the language because some of the questions can be phrased in a very specific way. It's good to be prepared for that. If you are not a native speaker, you can actually get extra 30 minutes of the exam time, at least for the architect certifications. Since you are definitely not the first one getting a certification, learn from the experience of Salesforce MVPs or other Salesforce experts. You can find tons of blogs all over the internet. That was all about Salesforce certifications, but besides that program, Salesforce actually launches a very new program of credentials, which is called Salesforce Accredited Professional Program. It starts this July and it focuses on product badges. The goal is pretty much to fill the gaps between the individual certifications, which may appear a bit generic. This is the list of 32 accredited professional exams currently available. What I didn't mention is that they are only available for Salesforce partners. They are available exclusively in Partner Learning Camp. Again, starting this July, but the beta exams and training materials are already there. And with my last slide, I just wanted to mention that Salesforce is not the only company providing the ability to certify yourself. In the same universe of Salesforce, you can get also certified for MuleSoft, Tableau, or pretty much any related product completely, other than Salesforce companies, such as some CPQ products or some data management, document management systems. Speaking about the references, Trailhead is the key for pretty much everything. You can find all the information there. Other than that, you can check out the Trailblazer community. And finally, as I mentioned, check out some blogs or of MVPs or other Salesforce experts. That's it from me. Thank you for your time. And thank you, Martin, for having this conference.
Joey said on the chat that certifications are Pokemons, which is surprising. I thought they are, especially with the accreditations. It looks like a Pokemon game. And there is the AWS as well, and security certifications and much more. So that's pretty cool. Definitely those extra 30 minutes, I would say half of us can use. Don't be afraid, open a case with Salesforce in advance, because I think you need like at least 1 week before the exam, and they are happy to extend the time for you.
And someone has already mentioned it on the chat that they just announced, Salesforce just announced the new UX certification last night. So they basically outdated my presentation like last night. So now there should be 36 certifications available.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up soon today so I can do it. Tomáš, what is the number?
I was actually telling you, but you muted me before that.
Yeah, I was
the number is 88.
88, nice. Okay, next one on my list is Trish. Trish, are you ready to share with us the NPSP?
Yes. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Go.
So, go.
Okay.
Sure.
So I am an international and USA Salesforce nonprofit consultant. And I've spent a lot of time with the Nonprofit Success Pack. And it looks to me like we've got a lot of wonderful developers in the room. So this is much more sort of generic for everybody. This is the Getting Started page when you have a Nonprofit Success Pack. And you'll notice there's all kinds of wonderful resources for you to tap into, including videos and Trailhead and joining the community, the Power of Us Hub, and also just the documentation. So all of those are available right when you get started. So what do we want to do as nonprofits? I'm gonna be looking at 3 different sections. We want to raise money so that we can do our work. We want to manage the work that we're doing, and we also want to manage our volunteers. So those are sort of the 3 main things that nonprofits actually do. We do it with a 360-degree view of our constituents. Here's Minnie Mouse. She works at the Mousetrap Prevention Foundation in her primary affiliation. And this has all the information. You'll notice there's volunteer information and donation information. The affiliations in the Nonprofit Success Pack actually connect people with organizations. So we can see that Minnie is a major donor at the Seattle Symphony Orchestra, that she volunteers at the food pantry. And so all of those are pieces of information that we need to know. We also, in the relationships, Salesforce, the Nonprofit Success Pack allows us to follow very closely the relationships that our contacts have with each other, because those are also ways of connecting us with people that we wouldn't necessarily be connected with. And we have two different kinds of accounts in the Nonprofit Success Pack. We have the household accounts. So every individual that gets put into the Nonprofit Success Pack has a household account. And I like to make it so that their first name and last name are there, so we don't get confused with the different mouse households that we've got. And then we also have the regular organizational accounts. So the Mousetrap Prevention Foundation would be one of them. The Symphony would be another one. Any companies that we work with, this is the sort of normal way that we think of using the accounts object. So here's the fundraising tab line, just so you can see what all the nonprofits can do with recurring donations and campaigns, general accounting units, engagement plan templates, and then we've already covered the affiliations and relationships. So when we want to log a new opportunity in the Success Pack, you'll notice we have a bunch of different record types for that, including donations and grants and matching gifts and memberships. None of this looks like the standard Salesforce, but to the rest of us, this is how we know who we're engaging with. Minnie Mouse has given us a major gift, and you'll look at the stages. I put them up in the corner there for the major gift. These will be very, very different from the other stages in the opportunities. You'll notice this is an unusual way of thinking about how you get money into the system. And you'll notice that Minnie also wanted to, you look at the bottom of the page, the general accounting units shows what funds the donor would like her donation to go into. So we can allocate her $10,000 she gave us in kindergarten support. You'll notice I have kindergarten support and general office support and child health support for the organization. People can actually tell us they want us to put their money in this particular fund or that one. And that's how we track where the money is actually going in our organization, is with general accounting units. And here's the Mousetrap Foundation's grant. Notice the stage at the top: prospecting, letter of intent submitted, application submitted, awarded, denied. Each one of our record types has a different set of stages in Salesforce, and we track them that way. We use campaigns also very creatively in the nonprofit world. We have event campaigns, we have fundraising appeals, we have straight up people lists. I like to say that a campaign is a people list that you can hook money onto. So the volunteer campaigns, the volunteers are built to use the campaign structure. Here's just an example of one of our fundraising campaigns. We love the fact that you can nest all of these fundraising campaigns in a hierarchy in our Salesforce, so that we can really track the return on investment from the different kinds of campaigns. Here's our program management module. This is new just about a year ago. And we are tracking how we are reaching and connecting with our constituents now. Now we're no longer in the donor world. We're now in the constituents. And we want to be able to track our programs and how effective the programs are. So I've got my child health and my kindergarten program here. And these programs we will then attach individuals to the programs in a program engagement. And I think that's going to be coming up really soon. There's our program. And you'll notice that Maria Mouse is connected to the program as a program engagement. And there are 3 services that are available within this program: a home visit, a medical referral, and a social work referral. And so each one of these, we're going to be tracking all the way through to see what services are delivered. We can also set up service schedules. So our kindergarten classes, for instance, I've already set up all the classes for our summer classes this fall. They're meeting Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And you'll notice that Maria Mouse is a service participant. So she's already signed up for that program. So here's our volunteers for Salesforce. That is a much loved feature that Salesforce keeps trying to get rid of, and we keep telling them that we want it to stay. They would like to come up with something super complicated that they could charge us lots of money for. Unfortunately, this works super well. And so we don't really need to have something newer. This is our summer kindergartners. And so you'll see that, I mean, I don't have any leads or contacts in the campaign at this point, but this is a people list of those folks that are going to attend kindergarten. And then I can also find out how much they paid for that kindergarten. So that's the Nonprofit Success Pack in a whirlwind. That was fun. Oh, my number is 143.
143. Okay.
It's too much. Until
Christina
114, please.
Trish,
sorry, Trish, between 1 and 114. She's mute.
I thought it was 1 and 150. Okay.
Yeah, we are losing people.
Okay, so 139.
113. It can be 113 top.
130 is the highest.
113. 113.
113. Okay. Well, then 112.
112. Okay. I do know that you will leave us because today is going on the nonprofit NPSP sprint in States. But before you leave, if you can tell us a bit more about this sprint, because we will have the EMEA version at the end of June. So maybe some people want to join, what they can expect.
So the nonprofit community sprints is a wonderful place to connect with people in the nonprofit world and to make a significant and meaningful contribution to the Nonprofit Success Pack and to the nonprofit users in the system. So we gather consultants and customers and Salesforce people all together. We spend 6 hours a day. Today's the second day. We have projects that we're working on. I'm working on the free and open source mobile app for nonprofits that could be customized to any nonprofit that has field workers out there. But there's all kinds of projects that you can get involved in, and you don't need to necessarily know that much before you get started, because it's just the kinds of anything you can contribute, you do, and you come away feeling wonderful about having made the kind of contribution that really is meaningful. And it's a pretty intense little operation too. So it's lots of fun and it's intense, and we all end up learning a whole bunch. So I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be running the mobile app project, like I'm supposed to be running it right this minute. And you are welcome to, anybody on this call is perfectly welcome to join. We definitely need developers. And since this is a group that has a bunch of developers, could certainly use you. We're using JavaScript and React Native and a bunch of other sort of super codey things that I don't know anything about. And we definitely could use some developer work. So come and help us. The 29th, I think it's the 29th of.
It's the 29th of June.
Yeah.
I will post the link in the chat so anyone can sign up.
Fabulous. Please come. It's lots of fun.
We have just 1 day here in Europe, but I would say that will be enough. Cool. Thank you for that. If there's no further question, we will move to feedback. Are you ready?
Ready.
Cool. Let's do it.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Seyit Usmanov. This presentation is for everyone who would like to become a Salesforce developer. Either you're a Salesforce admin, Salesforce consultant, or just IT professional, but would you like to become a Salesforce developer? I've become a Salesforce developer. As you can see, that's my photo on the right there. It has changed my life, and it will change your life as well. So, a bit about myself, yeah. I grew up in Prague, Czech Republic, so I'm very happy to participate in CzechDreamin. It's my connection to Czech Republic. I don't have IT background. I studied commerce at University of Toronto, MBA at University of Virginia, and etc. And then I became a Salesforce developer by accidentally, and it was the best thing that happened in my life. And ever since I started learning Salesforce, I've been sharing my knowledge on my YouTube channel. And I was very happy that Martin was my guest one time. We did an awesome interview. Also noticed some other people here that I've interviewed before. Husam, hello. And so I've been teaching Salesforce for the past couple of years. Here I taught Salesforce at a Native American reservation in Oregon. And then I also have taught Salesforce at the largest community college in the state of Maryland. And then I just teach people at like some companies. And so here's my photo with my students at Montgomery College. And so I would like to share with you guys, those of you who are interested in becoming a Salesforce developer, my 8 tips on how you can become a Salesforce developer. I encourage you all to try to become a Salesforce developer. It's not as difficult as you think, but it's not easy. Yeah, and so I will start on that. So here are some of my students. A lot of my students are people from my home country, Kyrgyz Republic or Kyrgyzstan. And all right, I'll just wait till it scrolls to the next slide. And all right, so yeah, so I've helped a bunch of people, and based on all my experience of helping people become Salesforce developers, I would like to share my my ideas with you. The first thing I would like to suggest is that you get the core Salesforce admin related certifications. Yeah, those are Salesforce admin, advanced admin, app builder, Sales Cloud consultant, Service Cloud consultant. They're all very similar. And the most difficult one is this, the admin, because it's the first one. You don't know what to expect, how to set up the camera, and it's stressful. What if you start forgetting? What if you reschedule something? But once you get the first one, you can start studying and you gain momentum. And so so that's the first suggestion. My second suggestion is that you make Salesforce personal. Make Salesforce personal. Yeah, run your life on Salesforce. For example, I love real estate. I own a couple of rental properties in the state of Maryland, and I use Salesforce to track tenant and house information in Salesforce. Yeah, like when they moved in, how much they pay, etc. Yeah, and if you don't have a hobby like that you can use for Salesforce, make a Salesforce portfolio. There's actually a trailhead you can use to create a portfolio for yourself, like this guy did. Yeah, like Adil Sultan did. You're creating a portfolio on Community Cloud. It's beautiful. Yeah, it shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes. This will showcase your ability to present yourself in Salesforce, and I think it's beautiful. The third thing I suggest is you pass this Platform Developer 1 certification. Some of the information there is out of date, like there's a lot of questions about Visualforce, but still, do a lot of practice questions, look it up on Quizlet, you can pass it. And the second thing is get the Scrum Master certification, because it'll make you comfortable when you join development teams. Yeah, the Scrum, you'll learn a lot about the terminology. Okay, it's going really fast now. It's step 4 is I suggest you get Salesforce admin and developer experience. Is it possible? It's not possible to pause, right?
It should not be allowed, but I will get you back.
Okay. It seems to be accelerating. It's like,
oh.
No? Okay, so step 4, I recommend everyone get Salesforce admin development experience. Yeah, the great way to do so is volunteering. In US, there are awesome websites like Volunteer Match, All for Good, Catch a Fire, or you can even make a post on Salesforce subreddit yeah. And then in Czech Republic, there is an amazing organization called CRM Pro Neziskovky. We don't have it in USA, but those of you who are in Czech Republic, you're super lucky. You can contact them and they will help you get volunteer experience. I think it's amazing. I wish we had this in USA. And if you're more adventurous, you can go to Upwork.com and actually seek out projects that you can work on for money. Yeah. Step 5, I highly recommend you join your local Salesforce developer community groups. I think Martin is head of one of them, and some other people are heads of. I heard someone is head in France. Yeah, please go and join them. They're very good groups. They're your allies, your friends. They will help you get over certain difficulties. And I really benefited from the one in Washington, DC. Step number 6, I highly recommend you all make Salesforce Stack Exchange your friend. It's the best resource to crowdsource community's help on your dev questions. Yeah, and I challenge you guys. For example, if you're new to Stack Exchange, try to get to 100 reputation points by July 1st, 2021. Okay, asking questions there on Stack Exchange is not as easy as you think, because they're very strict moderators. They make sure that you ask only very good developer questions. Yeah, so but this will make you think as a developer and how to ask good questions. So, and you'll get good at it eventually. I've gotten better, and you will as well. Thank you, Martin, for pausing. We're almost there. Step number 7 is I highly recommend finding a technical mentor. Okay, because if you don't come from a technical background, if you don't come from IT background, it's easy to get stuck and lose motivation because you forgot the semicolon, you forgot that methods come with 2 brackets, and these little things might seem very insignificant to you, but they're significant for code because it has to be precise. So you might lose motivation, you might lose momentum. So to help you overcome this, find a technical mentor. Yeah, and I would suggest to go to like Upwork.com. You can find some Salesforce consultants to help you. And step number 8 is apply to jobs. Yeah, and the beautiful thing about Salesforce developer jobs is that it's the interview process is very objective. Yeah, you know what your mistakes are typically from the person's facial expression, also from how he follows up to your questions. So you know where your weaknesses are, and so you can focus on those weaknesses, and next interview you can do better. And after 5-6 interviews, you'll get really, really good. So make sure to track your mistakes, and you will get your dream Salesforce job. So just to sum it up, the 8 steps. Yeah, get the Salesforce certifications. Make a Salesforce portfolio or project, pass the Platform Developer 1 certification or the Scrum Master certification, join your local Salesforce developer group, attend conferences like CzechDreamin, make Salesforce Stack Exchange your friend, find a technical mentor, and 8 is apply for jobs, and you can do it. Thank you.
We'll see how many new developers we will have after this presentation. So good job. We are getting closer to the end, but we still have 2 more speakers, if I count correctly. Number, correct. Seyit. Seyit back. Can you say?
Unmute.
Yeah, 1.
1 again. Okay, so we.
1 is already selected.
Okay, 11.
And we do have Mercedes as the next one. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Cool. So ready, steady, go.
Okay, my name is Mercedes Basavilbaso. I am from Argentina. So hello, everybody from this part of the world. I am CEO of Wolke. Wolke is a Salesforce partner. So we constantly deal with projects, and we're constantly trying to find the best way and the best methodology to have success on them. So I lived in Czech Republic a couple of years ago for some years, and I love the city and the country. So hello, everybody from Argentina. So what about Salesforce projects? A software project in general always tend to be like a little bit tedious. Most of the times they are much longer than what was originally scoped. So are some projects always delayed, out of budget, or have less scope? Well, not always. So sometimes we fail on some projects, and I think that the key of that is the methodology. And so then the next question is, okay, which methodology? Is this waterfall? Is it agile? We have plenty of different methodologies, and we need to have the best one. So here I will be presenting adaptive methodology, that is the methodology that Salesforce presents. Here we have the difference between agile and waterfall, and we can see as a simple view that 14% of the waterfall projects are a success, but 42% are a success with agile methodology. So I think we'll be leaning to agile methodology, or maybe a mixture of both. That's what Salesforce proposes. Here is also a little difference between agile and waterfall. With agile, you fix the resources and the time. That's much more flexible. While with waterfall, you fix only the scope. And so then if you fix only the scope, then the time and the resources might be much longer. So that's what we have to tackle and have a project successfully in scope, resources, and time. Okay, agile has a bad propaganda. They say that they have no planning, poor quality, no documentation, they don't fix schedules, and that's not really that. The thing is that we have to go into agile and see what that means really in reality, but it's not like only, okay, I do whatever, and then the project is a success anyway. So this is again the middle between a waterfall and an agile methodology, and we're going to base in the middle one, in the adaptive methodology. It's a methodology proposed by Salesforce, and that's what we are going to talk about it now. So it's the center between both of them, taking the best part of both. So okay, and why do you have to go agile or adaptive? Well, we have more speed, flexibility. This client involvement, this is very important. It's the only way a project can succeed, if the client is involved. Then we have more predictability, identify issues earlier. That's we know all the things the agile methodology is going to help. We have more communications and a more successful projects. So here, this is a big difference between an agile and a waterfall project and how they focus. Maybe the end result is the same, but then we have to walk through it and have the client involved and with a better communication. So this is how we have to reach to the end of the project, but through different channels. And this is why we are going to center in the adaptive methodology. The adaptive methodology has different stages. We have the plan stage, the architect, the construct, the validate, deploy, and support. But through all of it, we have to monitor and control. So now we are going to dive deep into each of these stages and see how we can adopt it and get the best out of them. This is the schedule. The first thing we have to do is plan. So we initiate it. That's before the project starts. Then we go to the plan section, to the architect, where we do discovery and we find out the user stories. Then we go to the construct and validate. Here we have to go all through, validate all through the project. We don't have to show the demo to the client only at the end. We have to do several demos at through the project so that they can see how it is evolving. So here we are deeping dive in the plan stage. The plan stage, we have to do the project management plan. With this project management plan, we're going to set up the team. We're going to onboard it. We're going to prepare the kickoff, and we are going to start the project. Then in the architect stage, this is when we do the discovery workshops, when we write the user stories and we understand much better what the client needs for us in the project. So we have to work on that, on the discoveries, and then make a document and get it signed off. This is very important. Don't forget to get it signed off by the client. Then we'll go to the construct stage. This stage is the one that we are going to apply Scrum or Agile methodology. In this stage, we are going to construct the user stories that we wrote. We're going to build them over Salesforce, and we are going to make the demos. And don't forget to make the demos every end of sprint. It might be every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks as you decide your sprint's length. And then in the construct stage, we can follow all these agile methodologies with the ceremonies. Are very important to follow on the ceremonies, the planning, the daily, the demo, the retrospective, and all based on our user stories. and we have to work very hard on the estimations here. This is one of the key points here. Once we constructed the tool, we go to the validate stage. This is the UAT, or where the users can validate and sign off. This is where they have to commit themselves to test the solution, try it, and see if giving it feedback if necessary, and give the go or no go decision. This is very important, and you get the client involved with this stage. Then the deploy stage, when we pass everything onto production, where here we saw on these presentations some tools to migrate the components to production. So we are preparing and setting up the production environment and have it ready for the client to start. And we can also train the users so that they are ready. And this stage, the close stage, this is a very important stage. Most of the people do not focus very much on this stage because it's like more administrative closure, and you have to go over the checklist and see if everything is done. And then you have to go through the lessons learned. And this is a very important stage that it's very highly forgotten. And then here we have some of the tools. This is going really very fast. We have some of the tools that you could use to support the project management. So Jira is one of the most commonly used. Also Excel, if you prepare it as a spreadsheet. Then Salesforce has the Agile Accelerator, and you have also version 1. So some tools that you can use to support your methodology. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for this session.
What I remember from my training for project manager, the closing phase is the most important, or maybe not most important, but most neglected. Yeah, exactly. So glad to hear that. And I should not forget about the number. What's your number?
My number is 81.
81. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was pretty exciting. And yeah, I recommend the book from Ines Garcia in the chat as well. So if you want something to read, that book is pretty good, I would say. Actually, it's awesome.
Should we download the book in the chat so everybody has it?
Yeah, I put it in the book in the chat. If you have any other recommendation, that would be pretty awesome as well. Okay, and with that, we are getting close to our last speaker of today. Michal said that he is not being stressed out from the presentation. So, Michal,
hello.
Do we have you?
I am here. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening.
So, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
The stage is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I'm excited to be here with you today. I am Mike Orr. I work in the Salesforce Platform Product Management Organization now for a number of years. Fairly recently, I helped to drive the lightning transformation in both our platform and in our customer base. And just keep this in mind, I am not a data scientist. You'll need this information a little bit later. Today, I'm here to talk to you about superpowers, the kind you get with the Salesforce platform. Now, superpowers make me hungry, which makes me wish I had the superpower to actually travel and try some Czech food. Well, it turns out the next best thing is West, Texas. Now, two interesting things about West, Texas. It's not in West Texas. It's on busy Interstate 35 south of Dallas. And secondly, it was the epicenter of 19th century Czech immigration into the US, which means there are kolaches, which I understand is svačina. So that's my one Czech word for today. So these are kolaches. Today, we're going to help Kolache Kusina, which is a small Czech bakery in West, Texas, scale to keep up with the surging demand from hungry drivers on Interstate 35. They want to recommend the right kolache to the right customer and speed up the line, which is currently around the block and it's slowing down traffic. Now, we used to have to write something like this to create a custom object, or what we used to call a table. And with this code, we're not even half done because we haven't exposed an API or UI or any of that. One of the superpowers the Salesforce platform gives you the developer is the power not to write this kind of code to create a Kolachi object. Instead, we're going to create a custom object with just a few clicks, which is more than just an easy way to create a table. It actually creates a mini application with APIs and a UI and default components and all that stuff. Most of you know this already. This is the low-code superpower. Now let's talk about another superpower, one you can give to your users with the Salesforce platform. Picking the right thing can be hard, especially if there's a lot of choices, but you probably have an asset that can help. That is your data or past choices that have been successful. The problem is the user cannot usually tap that directly by themselves. And that's why we have Einstein. Einstein gives you the ability to use machine learning to tap that asset and give your users the superpower to make better choices based on data they already have. It's built into the Customer 360 platform, and it's not off in some separate system. No data scientist required. So I'm not a data scientist, so I don't have to be, right? Now, hopefully you're all familiar with Prediction Builder. Prediction Builder gives you the likely value for a binary or numeric field. Now, new with Recommendation Builder, you can predict the best value for a relationship. Both of these products give you AI in just a few clicks without having to be a data scientist. You'll need a specific data setup to build a recommendation. You need recommended items like products or parts. You need a recipient like a contact. And then you need interactions that represent successful or unsuccessful relationships between those two. Now, just like me, for AI to work, you have to feed it. But in this case, not Kolachis, you have to feed AI data. You need at least 10 recommendations, 10 recommended items, 400 positive interactions, and at least 100 recipients to build a model. Positive interactions are examples of past successful interactions, like a Kolachi that a customer actually bought. You can use any custom objects with Recommendation Builder. You can also use a number of our standard objects. You can see a partial list here of the standard objects that we support. I'm, of course, going to use our Kolachi custom objects to build this model. And then to improve the power or precision of your recommendation, you can use segments to focus only on specific subsets of your recipients or recommended items. Optionally, you can include examples of negative interactions, which will strengthen your model. These are interactions that have failed that you can train the model with. You can also exclude fields that you do not want Einstein to consider when it's making a recommendation. It takes about 30 minutes to 24 hours to build the model. We do that automatically, but then you can come back and check out the quality of the prediction and the amount of uplift you can expect in your recommendation scorecard. You can also see top predictors and their impact, as well as whether you have adequate data volumes to build that model. Now, here's the power of low code with Einstein. We do the work for you. We take care of the maintenance. We build the model, we rebuild the model monthly to take into account new interactions, and we pick up changes in recommended items every 7 days. Now, to use a recommendation, you need to build a strategy using the next best action, using the Einstein load elements. This is what pulls in the model. Then you select the flow. You have to build a flow first, and you can select the flow that you want executed when the user accepts or rejects that recommendation. You can display your recommendations on a Lightning page or an app homepage using the next best action component, on an experience, otherwise known as a communities page, using suggested actions component, or you can even include it in a custom component using our standard base component, Lightning Next Best Action. Now, here's the next best thing with Einstein Recommendation Builder. Coming in summer 21, we are introducing templates, which are pre-built recommendations for common use cases based on standard objects. The first template is parts to work orders for our friends in field service. And we've got a bunch of other templates coming with some exciting new ingredients. Here's some more good news. Einstein Recommendation Builder is GA and included in Platform Plus, Service Cloud Einstein, and Next Best Action additional requests at no additional charge. So now we've used the power of the platform with low code and Einstein Recommendation Builder to help Kalachi Cosina speed up the line out the door and put some smiles on customer faces. Thank you all for listening. And go ahead. My number is 43.
Oh, I especially like the part about it's included and for free. That sounds good. And I would say we do have some questions here. The major concern my enterprise customers has over Einstein models is the fact that they practically run in a completely different cloud environment than the rest of the Salesforce. How are you tackling this in the Salesforce projects?
That has come up as a concern with Einstein. We do have a major initiative to consolidate some of our technologies there, and I can't describe any details of that today, but stay tuned, and we have some major engineering work along those lines coming.
Thank you for that. And with that, we made it to the end. If you have any question, feel free to ask. We do have most of the speakers still with us, so you will get the answer immediately. It was a pleasure to have you. It was quicker than I expected, I would say. Great job, all the speakers. Thank you for the support and thank you for the presentation, because that was awesome. Thank you.